Okay. Welcome to Untitled, the podcast that takes you beyond the closing table,
where we're talking about life as it really is, the work wins, the personal chaos, and the messy middle where the two worlds collide.
From deal drama to daily life, we're showing up for it all with stories, strategies, and the kind of honesty this industry doesn't always have time for.
If you wear too many hats and still forget where you left your keys, you're in good company. This is Untitled. And we're just going to dive in and talk about title.
I guess what everybody wants to know, do I really need title insurance? Is one of our main questions we get from agents, buyers, investors. And of course, we say absolutely. So why don't you tell the listeners, do I really need title insurance?
The title insurance is there to protect your property. So it's basically like going back in time to check records just to make sure that the deed, the property rights that you have are protected. And your title insurance policy helps that to happen.
Another question that we get a lot from even agents, which is very interesting, is can I use any title company I want? Which I know Tab loves to explain to everyone.
The answer is yes. Steering is illegal. Absolutely. In the state of Tennessee, you have the right to choose your own title insurance agent. And I always like to showcase our team when I am talking about this because Authority Title, we are a team of experts. So just because you are purchasing a house from a builder and they have a title company, a mortgage company, anything else that goes along with this, just always remember that they have representation, so you need to think about should you need representation. So if anyone is trying to push, pull, steer you into using their title agent, it's always okay for you to ask questions, to shop fees, to check out the reviews of that title company, and you always have the right to choose.
I also feel like if someone's strongly pushing you, maybe ask why.
Correct. I agree.
Okay, so whenever you talk about title and a closing, not everybody really knows what goes all into that behind the scenes. What are some things that we find on title searches? What do we uncover? What do we see that may never be brought to light during the closing process?
Oh, we talked about this earlier today, and I have so many things circling in my brain that I wish I could correctly identify.
Too many.
Too many. But I think one of the most
common title issues.
Yes. Okay. So the most common, I think, is always deceased persons in the chain of title and legal descriptions. Mm-hmm. That's what I think are the most common.
Most common, yeah.
We always want to ask questions starting from listing appointment. All you agents out there, you can literally ask questions that's going to help the title process from start to finish. So if there's any deceased persons in the chain of title that you're aware of, that the current property owner is aware of, if anyone has, if there is a person on title that owns the property that has died recently, that would be an estate. Divorce, right?
Yeah, and I think that's a great segue into why communication between lenders, agents, title company is so important.
Yes.
Because the more we know up front, the less likely a closing is going to get delayed.
Correct. Absolutely. So, we have checklists that we go by. We share this when we have meeting of expectations with the agents and lenders and investors that we're working with. But starting from the first initial conversation, right, with the property owner, if they're getting ready to sell, is to ask those questions. You can always ask for their prior owner's policy. You can always ask if they are married. And here we go with that one. There's no gray area in the state of Tennessee. You're either married or you're not. So
if you hear any title trigger words in your listing appointment, be sure to let us know, such as estate, divorce,
trigger,
POA, mobile home, any of those things that might cause
a delay or more questions or needing more information. Because if we have that up front, like, it's going to help us process your file smoothly. It's going to help the lender if there's financing involved. Now, also, we were talking about this, and we always say the closing date, like, okay, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Buyer, you knew you were signing a purchase and sale agreement. You knew the date, or I would hope that you would have known what date you were signing to close, and that's not a suggestion. Mm-hmm. So just because you're planning a trip to go out of the country that literally is at the same time of your closing date, you need to verify if a power of attorney can be used. And in title, we don't always approve them, but also the lender who is financing, if it's a split closing, it has to be approved by all parties. So trigger.
Mm-hmm. And
POA is a trigger.
Also, I guess with COVID, a lot of people had gotten used to doing Zoom closings, but if you're going out of the country, that's not always doable.
It's not always doable, and that's where you stop, call us, we can walk you through it. There's just so many different requirements depending on what all is involved in that transaction. So that is definitely a pause moment.
Another thing that we see, which this is kind of fun, this was like a little one that could be not picking on anyone or anything like that, but most common contract errors that cause headaches at closing. And those can be so small. It could be one word off, and it could cause a whole disruption the day of closing. So it's not anything that anyone has just done blindly. It could literally be one word off of a contract that just causes a big headache. What would you say that would be for you that you see?
My first, biggest, and most common that makes me angry sometimes is repairs. Repairs, and also seller paid closing costs. Those two are not the same thing. Would you say? I mean, what's an easy way to clear that up, I guess?
I say be as specific as possible in the contract. And when you think that you're specific, be more specific.
Correct.
Details.
Right. Details disclose always. And I think that this just come to me, like, because it's happened so much and it changes in our markets because during COVID, everything was selling, like, hot off the shelf. Like, it was go, go, go. There were no inspections.
You get a house.
Yes. Give us Oprah. And now in this current market, there's not as much inventory, and the homes that have been there maybe have been sitting for whatever reason. Anyway, the home inspections are coming back, and, a home inspection at the beginning and then the walkthrough at the end. If there's repairs that are needed, you can't always say, especially when you have a finance deal. So a lender providing funds to that buyer for the collateral, which is their house, they're not always going to say, oh, you have $40,000 of structural repairs that are needed. We're going to go ahead and just throw that into seller paid closing costs, and they're going to give you funds outside of closing. Or how do we show that on the settlement statement? No. That's not how it works. And you got to think, would you expect to pay full price for a car, a truck that needs $40,000 of repairs? If you're going to, loan someone money on something of that significance, you're not going to want that to happen prior to closing, or trust that it's going to happen after closing, after you've already funded. So hopefully that was not confusing. But repairs is another trigger.
Yes, repairs is a trigger.
That's what we go back to. It's a trigger if there is anything that needs to go on a settlement statement, normally, and we're going to need an invoice for those repairs.
Yeah. And again, communication. If there's anything, before amendments are signed or anything like that, if there's any question, I think it's a good, time to talk to your title team, your lender, just all get on a call and make sure everything is A-okay.
Absolutely. And we're here for that. I mean, we are a team of experts. We have so much experience. I mean, title is crazy, the things that come up. So just call us. There's really not a problem we can't solve. Let's just talk it through.
That is true. This one's fun. Mm-hmm. What are things that lenders or agents may forget to tell their clients about title work?
Ooh. Everything.
Just kidding.
I think first of all who we are,
mm-hmm.
right? I think that's number one with communication, and that's what we pride ourselves in here is communication at Authority, because when you're signing a contract and then you've got your buyers, sellers, let them know the title company is going to be reaching out, because we are going to be asking all of the non-public information questions that we don't want you guys liable for. So tell them that they do have a title company.
We are on the contract.
We are on the contract.
We are real.
Absolutely. And I think that, just having a one answer ready, right, for that question, if your client asks you for an agent and a lender, title insurance is the force field. Your title agent is basically the force field that's protecting your property for all of your property rights, whether that's liens, foreclosures, taxes, divorce, documentation, title agent, title insurance, your title company, your escrow officer is your protection on your biggest investment.
Good way to put it. Okay, so we've touched on what title insurance is. Do we need it? Mm-hmm. What title uncovers? Mm-hmm. Communication, contract errors. Yes. So I feel like a day-to-day. So as the title company owner, as the business owner, what does your day-to-day look like?
Well, my day-to-day looks like communication with my team. We have a calendar that we go over on a daily basis. And we have meeting of expectations with all of our former, current, future clients, just in, all the things that we've talked about. If, you are on your way to a listing appointment, or you're a consumer and you're getting ready to sell, call us, ask us. If you live in a rural county, or you received your land from, your uncle that's just recently died, call us. Because in title, I think that it is standard policies and procedures from the beginning to the end, contract in, getting everything ordered, which is the title search. But what I do as the owner is try to get my team on board every day for the contracts that we do have pending, for any questions that we've got. And there's always issues, right? with whatever it is. Obstacles, and then, I think it is communicating with those clients that we have, that, stop, pause. It's communication. I try to teach and talk all day long about communication. No news is not good news in real estate. And if we've got a hurdle or obstacle, we can solve it, but it's going to be, talking it through, because there's so many different parties on a transaction. And then celebrating closing. It's exciting. We love it. We celebrate it. I've been doing this 22 years. I'm excited to come and share this experience with everybody, from my team to the investors, to the lenders, to the agents. I mean, it's exciting just to hear the stories about what problems we do solve throughout the day to get people to the closing table. And I think it's always fun to share with our buyers and sellers that, hey, we're your people. They have no idea what it took to get them there, but you always want to say, take a woosah moment and enjoy the closing, whether you're getting a fat check or wire for the proceeds in this market, or you're walking away with the keys as a first-time home buyer or an investor or your dream home. It's just exciting. And I think that everyone here at Authority, we love what we do, and I think it comes through in every action that we take all day. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. So with wearing all the hats, managing the marketing, the closings, the chaos, all that, how do you set boundaries?
Oh, I'm getting better and better at that the older I get.
How do you set boundaries, avoid burnout, and still build and grow a business that has all the importance that you want, like all the aspects of a business that you want? How do you do that?
Oh, I've got the perfect answer.
Oh, gosh. I'm scared to hear.
I know I'm very good at delegating.
Yes, you are very good at delegating.
And I think that, again, I'm passionate about it, but it's took us all a long time, to get where we are today, and trusting, my business partners and our staff. And, it is okay to say no. And I think the most important thing that I do realize that I say probably every day is this is a whole property that we are transferring. And it is a process. And, the lender, the agent, whoever is got an emergency or it's a rush, it's okay to say, you know what? We understand, but it's gonna take time to make that happen. And sometimes it's fast, but sometimes it's not. And I think just setting expectations helps me every single day, because I'm okay with telling someone about an event. It might be, what do we say the other day? August of next year. And that's not true with title work, but it's just like in setting expectations, like that's not on my top, 5 things I've got to get done today. And I think that, in business and ownership and running a company and running a team, like you've got to know what the most important things are and what you've got task-wise to get done that day. And there's a lot, but I feel like it's just an everyday conversation with yourself. What do I have to get done today? And if it gets written on my hand,
it's very important.
Very important, and it's happening.
I think a lot, speaking on the timelines, a lot of friction from some of our investors that we see is the turn times on title work. You can get some so fast, like next day they got it, and they're like, well, we got this one closed in a week. Why does this one take longer? Not all titles the same. So
no,
that's
it's not
something that is hard for them to understand. Like, one title search is not another title search.
Exactly. Every property is different, and you just think about it, which is so exciting to me. Like, the property has been here forever, and there's been so many since the beginning of time, since property records. So if you think of it that way, you're like, okay, if I'm an investor and I'm talking to my client, I'm going to say, I will, get with my team, get this search ordered. We always like to set expectations that it could be 5 to 10 days. And that is a stretch, because normally we can get it back in 48 hours if we need to. If it's a county, right, that's online, there's just so many factors. So I think setting expectations with our customers, with each other.
Communication and trust.
Yes.
If you trust us that we're doing our job and we're doing it correctly, then you're not going to sweat it whenever your title search is taking a little longer than you're used to.
Exactly.
Also, you just spoke on it, and it like dinged something in my head, and then now it's gone, so I can't remember. But you just said something that like reminded me of something else.
Maybe just the land being here forever.
Oh, yes. It's exactly what it is. So that raised a question that we hear also a lot from customers. This is a new construction house. Why do I need title insurance?
Yes. Well, just because you're in a new construction, which is probably a platted subdivision, is probably more of you definitely need title insurance, because there has been a big portion of land that has been developed and divided, maybe re-subdivided, and there has been owners to all of that parent parcel of land. And how many transfers has it been through? We're not sure. What title company did the title work? So those are also huge reasons on a new construction. And your new construction policy, if you have a builder in there, as a consumer, I'm not sure if it's common. I'm going to say no, maybe, to the extreme consumer, but they've not verified everything about that builder, or if he pays his debts. But that's been a problem in my career before, where, the market changed and a lot of builders weren't paying their subcontractors, and so there were liens out. And so that's one, another diving in, need a notice of completion, but that's another major reason in title insurance, because we're going to verify all of those things for the buyer that we're protecting.
Mm-hmm. And we have literally seen, you update title right before closing, and we have literally seen a lien get filed on the property for, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Absolutely.
Luckily, it resolved quickly and the closing wasn't delayed. But if, you didn't have a good title company doing their title updates, checking on that, then that could have easily got missed. And then you, as a new home buyer to a new property, new construction property, have this lien attached to your property.
Correct, which would take a long, lengthy resolution. Yes, so absolutely. New construction, I think, is one of... every property needs title insurance, but if anybody tries to tell you different on new construction, nope, red flag. They're a red flag.
Title trigger word.
Another trigger.
So speaking of, our own experiences with closing, what bizarre, weird closing experience would you say has just stuck in your mind?
Oh my God, I have two.
Okay.
I have two immediately. And what's so funny is I've been doing this so long, I've heard my same story told by someone else, and I'm like, that wasn't you, dude.
Like,
that was me. That was my story.
We're going to have to copyright your story.
But I'm like, okay, you know what? What do they say? Being copied is the highest form of flattery. I'm like, okay, I remember this because I was pregnant. I had been in closings all day. I was so thirsty. I was so hungry, and I was sick. And these two lovebirds came into closing, and they were hugged up at the closing table. Very, different.
Maybe that should have been a red flag.
Exactly. Yes. And so we got to their name affidavit, and on a name affidavit, if you have financing, then they're going to pull your credit report and all of your names that you've ever used, your AKAs, formerly known as FKAs, all of that's going to show up. And the husband or new husband seen the new wife's name affidavit, and it was long. There was like pages upon pages, which again is different on documents. But he was like, what is this? So long story short, he did not know that she had been married before. And it had been a few marriages. And it was the perfect time for me to say, okay, I'm going to step out. You guys can work this out, and I'll be back. Just let me know if you need me. So I had some crackers and got some water.
Gave them a few minutes. Okay, so did they still close?
They still closed. And they did not walk out hand in hand. Ooh. As they came, the way they came in.
Well, that is eye-opening, for sure. I thought, honestly, you were going to tell the story where the wife, not really the wife, came into closing.
That was my second.
Was that your number two?
That was my number two, and I think this is an important one to tell, because with all the fraud that's happening right now. So, yes, had a closing come in. There was an agent, there was a lender, a husband and wife were signing off on this deal, and they came into closing, which we had been working with them, 30, 45 days. They had come in prior to drop something off. I had seen her. It was like, okay, they're here for closing. We grabbed their IDs because, yes, we do verify you are who you say you are. And that, throughout the past has been verifying the driver's license. And we do look at that and check that. And she gave us a driver's license, and she was not the wife. And we go into the closing room, and she is literally sitting there going to commit mortgage fraud in my face and hope that I did not catch her or that I'm, not checking the ID. And I just said, this is not happening here or with us ever. Your ID does not match the name on the documentation. And the lender and the agent were speechless because she had been with this guy the whole time.
Wow.
So she was a poser. And it didn't happen on my watch. Fraudster. And that's mortgage fraud, punishable by law. There's a FBI document in every closing package, and the FBI took our file And, it's like with Closing Lock that we use now, shout out Closing Lock. We verify identities, it's way more secure now. So
from the get-go.
But, if someone's going to do that in your face at a company with multiple witnesses, like imagine how easy it could be for others to do it behind the scenes.
That's why it's so risky with doing mobile closings, out of office closings, people having their own notaries. That's why we have to really get all these systems and protections in place so that you don't have that happen to you.
Absolutely. Highly regulated. And while we have policies and procedures that we follow, and if someone doesn't like it, they don't have to work with us.
In the nicest way.
In the nicest way.
Oh, me. So that's a good segue into things we wish we could say at the closing table.
Oh, my goodness. You don't want to ask me that question.
What are some things you wish you could say at the closing table, but you won't do it? Oh, me. You always say the Best Buy. Have you already said the Best Buy TV?
Oh, I do always say that. If anyone gets me talking about title, which right now I'm so excited, I could go on and on. And they want to ask a question, or if they've got like a question about our fees or something like this, or it's so crazy that everybody always wants the title agent to reduce their fees, and I just said, you're not buying a TV at Best Buy. Like, this is a whole property. It's probably your biggest investment, and we've put so much work into it, and we are not, the cheapest. We're never going to be the cheapest, if that's what the case is. Whatever.
That's not our selling point.
Yeah, that's different scenarios, but that's a big one. Make sure your name's spelled correctly. Mm-hmm. Don't sign Superman. Mm-hmm. What was the actual question?
Things we wish you could say at the closing table. When you said that, do you remember? I know you remember. It was awful. The time that the whole closing package, they were putting their date of birth instead of the day they were signing, and they had to go back.
I totally remember that. Oh my gosh, yes.
And they said,
and it was like the 80s.
They had worked night shift. Was that right? He had worked night shift.
Yes.
And he was just so tired.
He was so tired. Also, when they were signing and they were putting a heart beside their name.
I thought it was a Minnie Mouse.
I think that's happened too. Yeah. It's wild.
Don't draw smiley faces on our closing docs.
And teach your kids, if you have kids, what a signature is.
Please.
I'm trying to think, though, because I know there's some really common things that we say. There's always the don't pay, don't stay, right? On the mortgage. I feel like this is very important when I'm doing a closing. Like, we have the closing docs prior. I have read through these closing documents before. These documents have not changed in my whole career, and at some point we put it in order on what's the most important, which all documents are important.
Yes.
But at some point you're like, let's enjoy this day. You've already acknowledged all of these forms. We just need a wet signature. And when somebody wants to sit there and read them, I gladly say, you know what? I'm going to step into my office. Feel free to read this whole closing package.
But we do appreciate the ones who know they're going to want to read the whole closing package. And they give us a heads up. And they say, will you email me this? Because I'm going to read this all. And we're like, yes, absolutely. We will read it. And then they come in the next day. And what do they say?
10 out of 10.
They're like, I only made it to page 3 of the deed of trust, and then I stopped. And we're like,
they say that.
Told you.
They say that, and they also say that's exactly what you summarized.
Exactly.
On our paperless file, still in 2025, that's 100 and something pages for a financed package.
Have you had, okay, so I know I'm just trying to think closing table, weird scenarios. Have you had any weird animals show up to the closing table, or have they all been dogs?
I feel like I had a ferret once. And it was in the lady's shirt.
I bet it was a sugar glider.
Maybe, but it was a rodent.
Squirrel squirrels at the closing table?
Rodent.
There are squirrels at the closing table, but usually it's like in our minds.
Yes, my mind for sure. I mean, we've had a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of dogs and
a lot of children, lots of dogs.
A lot of children. We had, oh, wow. Do you remember that time that we had the glass top on the table? And the lady came in and she had a lot of kids with her, and one of the younger ones swung the chair around, and the corner of the steel metal chair hit the glass, and it shattered all the way. And I was like, nobody move.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that was, hey. I've also, oh my gosh, at long time ago, I had a lady run through the building while I was in a closing. Yeah.
In her car?
In her car.
Oh,
yeah, run through the building in her car while I was in a closing, and it just like dented, crunched, I don't know, like it
smashed in?
It smashed in just a little bit of like the main wall where I was, but she went through like the entryway, like it was like columns. She went all through that, and then basically the structure stopped her car.
Was she there for her own closing?
She was. Mm-hmm.
She made an entrance.
She was, and she stepped on the gas instead of the brake.
Oh. Was she purchasing?
I did not get a bonus for doing that closing that day.
I was like, that, what a day. That might have been.
I think I got punished and had to stay even longer to do closings.
Oh, gosh.
So many things when you talk about it.
Yeah, there's so many title tea and tales.
Mm-hmm. You never know what next week's episode will bring. Deals, drama, or just us oversharing again.
Either way, it's going to be good. So hit follow, tell a friend, and submit your closing questions and confessions.
We're all in this together, one closing at a time.